Greetings, members one and all of the Salivation Nation. Gold and silver. Proof versus uncirculated. Let's explore. Yes, indeed, that is the subject of today's video. It was inspired by a viewer who asked the question about proof versus uncirculated in terms of premiums and the like. And we're going to take a look at that from both a stacker perspective and a collector perspective. For those of you familiar with this channel, you know that I am mostly a collector. However, when I do accumulate these particular coins and metals, I am obviously stacking as well because of the intrinsic value contained therein of gold and silver for these coins. And for those of you who are stackers, you will understand that the precious metals themselves act as a hedge against economic instability. And as a way to, as a savings account, essentially, that will preserve your wealth in the long term. And that's really what it's about in terms of the actual metals contained therein. And as far as that perspective, really it makes no difference how the coins look or what finishes are applied to the coins. For those of you who are not familiar, we're going to explore a little bit here about what that difference is between uncirculated and proof. For uncirculated coins, these are coins that are otherwise known as business strikes, and they are produced, essentially mass-produced, was struck typically one time on these discs of metal known as planchets. And when these are struck, they bring out the details, and essentially there's not much or very little finishing on the planchets or the dies when these are applied. Now you will notice here, this particular coin has an uncirculated finish, but almost has a sort of a matte appeal to it. In other words, it's not shiny. And some of these coins can be shiny or shinier than others depending on the treatment of the dies and the planchets. But nonetheless, these are what's known as business and brilliant uncirculated coins that are essentially have a nominal premium to them because they are essentially bullion. Now, there are also collector versions of the uncirculated coins as well that you will find, and they typically get a little bit more special treatment in terms of the dies and the planchets whenever they are struck. However, essentially the result is the same with not a whole lot of difference, but typically the collector uncirculated versions are a bit better quality with more control and inspection when these are produced. What makes proofs so interesting and different is that they will essentially give you a much more brilliant strike that preserves detail, but also it gives you a sense of depth and contrast, what's known as Cameo Contrast. And that is a situation where the dies are polished to a mirror shine, as you can see here on this particular coin, and so are the planchets themselves are polished, and then they're struck with a heavy frosting, and sometimes they're struck multiple times. Well, most of the time, proofs are at least twice to really pull out those details, to really showcase the design and that mirror finish there. And obviously, these come as well in the collector versions of these commemorative coins. But typically, you will find these particular pieces will cost more when purchased directly from the manufacturer. In this case, the United States Mint. When you purchase these particular coins, in terms of bullion coins, well, you have the same situation. Bullion coins can also be made in collector versions as well, and they are typically done sometimes with a limited mintage or what have you, but that is the thing about collector coins is they will limit the mintage on some of these pieces, or they may open-end the mintage, but make no mistake, with collector coins like this, you will pay a higher premium for sure. Here's the American Silver Eagle in the collector version here. And you can see the brilliant contrast between the mirror fields and the devices on the coin itself. So very, very fascinating to see all the different styles and that can be produced from mints around the world. So you have these proof versions. They can be reverse proof, enhanced reverse proof, or enhanced uncirculated. Typically anything that is different than just a regular, what's known as that business uncirculated strike, even if they call it uncirculated, such as enhanced uncirculated, those typically hold collector premiums to them. So we will kind of categorize those in the proof category just because they do typically have premiums. Now, in terms of uncirculated collector coins, they also carry a premium. Make no mistake, they do. But it's typically nominally less than the proof versions of these coins. And so when you buy from the United States Mint, for example, a commemorative gold or silver coin, you're paying incredible premiums for two reasons. Number one, because of the time and materials it takes to produce the collective versions of these and the dye production and the like from which they are commemorating. But also there are surcharges tied to these that typically go to the organizations that are commemorated. Now, it is also the case for other mints around the world will charge pretty hefty premiums for collector pieces as such. But in terms of collectability, it is certainly fun to collect, and those premiums would be worth it for those of us who are collectors to keep our sets up to date, or if there's a particular program that you enjoy from whatever mint you make a purchase. And but nonetheless, you can always count that you all have the intrinsic value of the metal contained therein, but cannot count on those premiums being sustained on the secondary market. Sometimes it will be above, sometimes it will be below. But that is the risk of collecting of a particular series, which is why I always tell collectors, you buy what you enjoy. You buy what you like, and you enjoy it for the collecting aspect of it. There are markets for flipping coins, taking advantage of hot coins that come into the market, such as the 2019 Enhanced Reverse Proof coin from the San Francisco Mint. That's a perfect example of it. But I always tell people, I'm pretty risk averse myself. If I buy a collector coin, I'm going to keep it, knowing that I may lose the premiums involved in it. As far as the Bullion Coins, the collector versions, it's pretty much the same deal, but there's a difference between gold and silver. And with some of these collector coins, especially in the bullion category, such as you see here with the buffalo and the eagle. What's fascinating about that market, I've found, in terms of proof gold eagles and proof gold buffaloes, is typically those proofs typically lose their premiums very quickly, except with few exceptions. So that if you are a stacker, sometimes you can get proof gold for about the same premiums over spot as you would uncirculated gold. And that is a unique situation, I think, with United States Mint products, especially. So gold eagles and gold buffaloes, you are in luck if you want something a little bit different than just a regular bullion, but you don't want to pay the premium prices in the secondary market. This coin here was bought at a nominal premium over spot on a special deal. I basically paid the price for this, and essentially I paid less for this than one that would be uncirculated at the time. And so that is a unique situation with buffaloes and eagles. I've not seen it so much with Royal Canadian Mint products, although I think their proofs are somewhat different in some of the things that they have. But also, Perth Mint is obviously kind of in a world in its own. But for United States Mint proof coins, especially eagles and buffaloes, you are in luck if you want to find bullion-type prices for collector-type products. The Silver Eagle, it's a different story. these silver eagles, though they have come down in price in the secondary market after a while, they still command some premiums to them over their uncirculated counterpart. And so you're not going to be quite as in luck with the proof versions of these, but you will find some relatively good deals. But typically those deals are still twice double spot price. In terms of the commemorative coins, especially the United States Mint commemorative coins, typically the silver and golds in the secondary market lose much of their premiums, but they do still trade for a slight premium above what a normal coin of its weight and size would be. For instance, this coin you may be able to get for $20, $22, $25 perhaps on the secondary market. When it was purchased, it was probably more than that, and same with this coin. However, if it's a rare mintage, then typically the uncirculateds are more rare than the proofs, and they command a higher premium. As is the case, a special case for this particular coin, these coins here, the proof coins were that were purchased and a lot of them sold, and so they had done well at the point of sale, which means that they didn't really retain much of their premium in the aftermarket. However, this coin here was at one time the rarest commemorative gold or commemorative of any sort of the whole entire series of modern commemorative coins. It was recently beat out by the Boys Town uncirculated commemorative coin, but this was commanding a premium for a while above spot price and collector value too, because of its rarity. So there are exceptions where pieces like this are highly sought after in the secondary market, but as is the case with any type of collectible out there, these very hard to find but heavily sought after are only heavily sought after in certain collector markets. So that's something to take into consideration. But with all being said and done here, if you are looking to find collector coins at a bullion price, the gold buffaloes and gold eagles are the way to go for sure. So I hope that helps clear things up and answer some questions out there as far as collector coins, proof and uncirculated, both in gold and silver. And I think it's quite fascinating to see the different variety out there and how the aftermarket has treated coins such as you see here before you. So post your thoughts below if you have anything to add to this discussion. It certainly is fascinating. There's a lot more to it as far as collectability and stacking and the like. And that's how I look at it. You know, there's many coins that I've purchased throughout my years of collecting that have lost a lot off of their premiums that I paid for them. But, you know, as you go as far back as you can think, you know, in terms of silver and gold price, some of these have been recovered. Some of the loss of premium have been recovered, at least to an extent, because of rising spot prices. And so that is something to consider as well. But I would say if you're stacking and you want something a little different, look into gold buffaloes and gold eagles for something unique, and it may just spur you on, or perhaps the bug of the collector just may bite you in that regards. And for those of you who are collecting, well, enjoy it. And enjoy it just for the fun of collecting and the enjoyment of the coins that you acquire. But understand the premiums that could potentially be lost when making purchases of particular coins that you enjoy. So there you have it, folks. I'd like to extend a multitude of gratitude to you all for taking the time to watch. Remember that I do post videos on a daily basis. I would like to extend a multitude of gratitude and encourage you to please rate, share, comment, and subscribe.